So John, if you excuse me again for interrupting, but show us anywhere on the ship where you exercised on a railing and point to that and show us on the, because that's an incredible story of you working out there
It
on
was
a.
back on the after end of behind the turret back here. We had a big area, and the depth charges were over here, but that was the only open space we had. There wasn't, even the forecastle wasn't big enough to do it, so we had a big area behind this gun, and we worked out over there.
Turn the photo towards the camera and I'll show you where you are there. And then, so it's back, you can show us, can you just put the photo a little bit lower, John, if you would please, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you. And then you can see in this thing where you're showing us. Excellent. Thank you. Well, that is incredible. So what would be your, real quick, and I'll let you get back to your part, your way of telling the story, but what would be a typical day for you on the destroyer as far as your schedule and your exercise schedule, please?
Well, I had jobs. I had one striker and with me, and anytime anything happened on the ship, damage or I would have to repair it, and then too I was teaching other men how to weld and burn, and a lot of the officers wanted to know how to weld, so I'd spend an afternoon out there and they would come and we're teaching them to electric weld, and it was a good experience, and they enjoyed it, and I enjoyed working out there with them. I got very close to a number of the officers, and matter of fact, every time when we mail, our mail had to be censored, and you couldn't mail unless it was signed by an officer, and because they were afraid you would put something in there that would give your positions out. So I would always give my letters to some officer that I knew and worked with, and I'm sure he just, I don't know, I'm sure he trusted what I was saying. I don't even think he reviewed, he just signed those letters and sent them back to my mother and sister. So, but every letter had to be inspected and signed before it could leave the ship, because all letters were, you didn't have to pay any postage on it during the war, and there was a little sticker they gave you, put on it wherever the stamp was, and it would go. But because if I got mailed back from the States, they had to pay the stamp to us. But that was able to communicate with our shipmates that were on other ships, and we knew. So that was a good help. And I never did ever put anything in there that would compromise our safety out there.
Oh, again, not to interrupt, but was there a shipmate that introduced you to your wife? Is that correct?
What?
Was there a Navy person introduced you to? So we want to get to that story eventually. Don't let me forget that you had a shipmate or a Navy guy who introduced you to your wife.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, we'll get to that story eventually, but keep talking.
Okay.
Sorry, John.
Well, anyway, when I went to the Great Lakes Navy Training Center, I met this friend there. He was his name was Ralph Ross. He was from Louisiana, and as I was working out every day in the gym, getting ready for the Olympics, he was interested in weightlifting too, because he wanted to fight in the Olympics. So I was teaching him weightlifting, and that really made him a lot stronger as a fighter. So we became friends, and during the weekend, his sister and lived down in Hammond, Indiana, and her husband wanted a roof put on a small. He opened up a hamburger stand down there, and he wanted a roof on this. So I went down here one weekend and we put this, shingled this roof for 'em, and that night we went roller skating, and while there we met my wife Betty and another girl, her girlfriend, and we skated and we seemed to get along pretty good. So after the skate party, we went out and had a Coke and a sandwich, you know, and I guess we went together for a year before. Maybe, well, I knew her. Maybe about 2 years. I knew her before we married. And married when she was 18 years old. So, and Ralph and I, he kind of introduced her because I was a little bit timid about even going to two girls. We didn't go, but for some reason he was brave enough. He said, I got a friend of mine over here. How about we joining you with skating? And so we went over and met Betty, and we were skating pretty good. So we figured had a lot in common. So during the week, when we had time off, we would go down and go skating, or we went to the beach and went swimming out on the beach down there, and got acquainted, got quite a while down there. And finally we got married in 1949 when she just got, I think she was 18 on the 20th of January, and I guess we got married on the 29th, so it was kind of a quick get together. So we've been together now for 66 years, going on 67.
So Denise, should we have them sit together can you sit together just for a couple minutes here? Let's do that now, and then we can get back to his story about Navy stuff. Why don't we just move this slide over, and Denise, do you just want to pull up a chair for her? And then I want to hear her side of the story you just told, please. If that's okay with you too. Thank you. So while you're sitting down, and let's see now then, should we just clip the microphone back and forth on her maybe? Give her a chance to talk to Denise. Why don't you go ahead and just clip it on her when she has when you have a moment. And so Denise, yeah, if you just want, and then,
I'll make sure she's in the camera.
Thank you.
Can you put this on her?
Yeah, I'll do that.
And we'll just move that back and forth as the easiest way. And we have a few moments here. And thank you so much. And what I'm thinking of is when you mentioned that you guys were dating or maybe, you know, going swimming, I'm imagining him looking like Johnny Weissmuller. Remember Johnny Weissmuller, the swimmer, the Olympic swimmer? So I'm imagining he looks pretty much like that to you, but maybe you can describe him in your own way. And thank you. Or why don't you go ahead and give your name, rank, and serial number. And wow, this is just terrific. And then we can wrap up with like how long you guys have been married would be wonderful. I give the wives all their credit for keeping these men going. Thanks.
I'm John's wife. We've been married for 66 years. And we met roller skating, and he was stationed at Great Lakes, and I lived in Hammond, Indiana, which was about 2-hour ride for him. But he'd come down on the weekend, and we did this for almost 3 years, and then finally we got married in 1949.
So, did you just happen to be in the roller skating rink?
Right, yeah. My aunt was visiting from Denver, and back in Indiana we were close to the steel mills, so we always had to wash the walls and do the curtains around Easter time because of the black. And so I got mad at my aunt and my father, And I took off, and my girlfriend and I went roller skating that night, and that's how we met. If my aunt hadn't come, I never would have met him. We always went to the movies or to the beach. We were close to Gary Dunes, which is a sand dunes, and we go out there and swim and just have a good time. So, and then let's see, in late 49, I had my son Eric, and then in 51, I had my daughter Val, and we traveled all over. We were in Philadelphia after we went to Great Lakes, and then we went to San Francisco, and from there we went to San Diego, and from San Diego we went to Hawaii, and then from Hawaii we came back here, and bought our house, and been here ever since, except for short trips. So now we go to Arizona every year for two months. So.
You're snowbirds.
Right.
Well, that's great. Did you have
I've got a couple of quick questions. First of all, what's your exercise regimen?
Answer.
Not really, but
Answer.
and also we just while we've got you mic'd up here, we really want to hear about your childhood because you know, were you in the farm or the city, or just all about that would be just fascinating. Thank you.
I was raised in a small town, and went to school, and just did what ordinary kids did.
So what did your father do?
He worked in the steel mills, and
Did you have any brothers or sisters?
I have one brother, one sister. My mother died when I was 12, so I had to take care of the house and do the cooking and cleaning and so on and so forth. So that's
You
kind of it.
were in the farm there for a while during the Depression too.
Yeah, when I was real young, we were raised on a farm in Indiana. And then we moved to the city when I was about 10, I guess. And then I lived in the city until I married John.
And he took you away.
Pardon?
And he took you away. He took you away from Hammond.
No, I didn't miss it at all. It was just, I was just happy being married. We were stationed at Great Lakes for about a year, and then we were transferred to Philadelphia, and that's where I had the kids. And from Philadelphia, we were transferred to Washington, D.C. We were there for 6 months, and then San Francisco. And then he went out to sea. He was on a troop transport, gone for 30 days and home for 5, and that went on for 3 years. And then he retired. He got transferred to Port Chicago, and that's where we were for 2.5 years. And then from there we went to Kodiak, Alaska, and we were there for a year. From Kodiak we went to Astoria. We were there for 6 months while they decommissioned the ship. And then we went to San Diego, from San Diego to Hawaii, from Hawaii back to here. So,
You had the grand tour.
yeah. Exciting life.
Boy, yeah. You have any other questions, Tom?
Well, I think what she just described what it's like to be a Navy wife. So this is all Navy?
All Navy.
All U.S. Navy. So how many years were you in the Navy, John?
23 years.
Okay, wow. Sure. Wonderful. And so when, just to maybe wrap up the family part of it, so when did you finally get released from the Navy and retire?
1963.